did Harold Godwinson, the last Anglo-Saxon king of England, die in 1066? Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to hit the follow if you love all things history. Harold was born nearly 1,000 years ago. He was the eldest son of Godwin, Earl of Wessex, and his wife, Gaitha. The relationship between the Godwins and the kings of England was an extremely complicated one. Godwin, Earl of Wessex, had risen to power under the rule of King Canute the Great. However, Godwin was responsible for the murder of Alfred Atheling. Godwin would be punished for his actions under the rule of King Harthacnut, who was the half-brother of Alfred Atheling and King Edward the Confessor. To appease the king, Godwin gave him a warship and basically said that he had only blinded Alfred Atheling because he'd been ordered to do so by Harold Hereford, even though he didn't want to. After that, everything was fine and dandy. Then in 1042, Harthacnut dies and he's succeeded by his half-brother, Edward the Confessor. Now, the thing about Edward is that he is an Anglo-Saxon, and he has spent years in exile in Normandy. He absolutely loves the Normans, and at some point, he promises the throne to William, Duke of Normandy. But you know who he's not a fan of? Godwin. That doesn't stop Godwin's daughter Edith from marrying King Edward in 1045. Thus making Harold the brother-in-law to the King of England. In 1051, Godwin and his sons fall out with Edward the Confessor. Edith is also sent to a nunnery, however in 1052, Godwin and his sons return. Edith is once more reinstalled as Queen of England. In 1053, Godwin dies suddenly and his earldom is inherited by his eldest son, Harold. For the next decade, Harold becomes the king's right-hand man. In 1064, Harold is shipwrecked. Where is he shipwrecked? Normandy. While in Normandy, Harold does a bit of fighting for William, Duke of Normandy. He also allegedly promises to support William's bid for the throne of England when Edward dies. The thing about Edward is that he and Edith have had no children. If Harold did make that promise, then he certainly didn't keep it. In 1066, Edward the Confessor dies without a clear heir to the throne. Harold claims that on his deathbed, Edward appointed him the new King of England. Edward is buried in Westminster Abbey on the 6th of January 1066. Immediately after the funeral, Harold is crowned King of England. However, it won't be long before his reign is challenged, as there are 3 other contenders for the throne of England. Firstly, you've got Edgar the Atheling, the last male surviving member of the House of Wessex. However, no one really takes his claim seriously because he's a child. Then you've got Harold Hardrada, who is a Viking. With the support of Harold's disgruntled brother, Tostig, makes his bid for the throne, however they both die at the Battle of Stamford Bridge on the 25th of September 1066. And finally, you have William, Duke of Normandy. William invades and the two face each other at the Battle of Hastings. It will be William who emerges from the day victorious. A popular legend has it that Harold was shot in the eye with an arrow, though the Norman chroniclers claimed that he was killed by an elite knightly death squad. Hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you next time.